Interviews can be tricky for celebrities. Sometimes they are monotonous or stressful, but they can also be surprising or emotional. Tears can be used as a defense mechanism, or they can tell us more than words ever could. Here are the interviews that left celebrities in tears. During a Net-a-Porter panel, actress Gina Rodriguez spoke about the gender wage gap, saying, "I get so petrified in this space talking about equal pay, especially when you look at the intersectional aspect of it. White women get paid more than black women get paid more than Asian women get paid more than Latino women, and it's like a very scary space to step into." Her assertion was mostly correct. Asian women do not make more than black women, according to the American Association of University Women. Nonetheless, her comments led to a backlash from some fans, specifically because Latina actress Sofia Vergara topped female earners that year. This was also not the first time Rodriguez waded into controversial territory. Earlier that year, she interrupted an interviewer who said that Yara Shahidi was a role model for black women, saying instead that Shahidi was a role model for, quote, "so many women." The interview host, not to mention thousands of internet viewers, felt that Rodriguez's interruption insulted the inspirational relationship, specifically between young black actresses and their fans. Rodriguez addressed the controversy while chatting on Sway's Universe, finding herself emotional in the process. She said,
"I never said actresses.
Okay.
I wasn't speaking about my industry."
She added, quote, "The backlash was devastating, to say the least, because," and then began to fight back tears, before continuing.
"Because the black community was the only community I looked towards. Growing up, we didn't have many Latino shows."
She continued saying, "The black community made me feel like I was seen. So to get anti-black is saying that I'm anti-family.
If I have hurt you, I am sorry, and I will always be sorry."
In the past, Mike Tyson would resist crying in public and on TV, likely because he saw it as a sign of weakness. As he's gotten older, though, he has become more emotional, particularly on his podcast, Hotboxin' with Mike Tyson. Maybe he's just fighting his feelings less. During his chat with Sugar Ray Leonard, Tyson struggled to explain what the boxing legend meant to him, saying,
"I saw you fight Wilfredo Benitez. I was locked up."
He went on, then paused, telling Leonard,
I can't even talk."
After Leonard tells Tyson that he supports him, the former heavyweight champion interrupted him.
"It changed my life. This is what I'm going to be."
Tyson then explained how everything he got in life was because of Leonard. At that point, he pivoted and started talking about being a student of the sport, saying, "I read about them all. I studied them all. I know the art of fighting. I know the art of war. That's all I ever studied. That's why I'm so feared. That's why they feared me when I was in the ring. I was an annihilator. It's all I was born for. Now those days are gone. I'm nothing. I'm working on the art of humbleness."
That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him.
Will Smith found himself the inspiration behind countless memes after he fought back tears hearing about his wife's extramarital, quote, "entanglement" on Red Table Talk. Yet, that wasn't the first time he got emotional on the show. In fact, when Will and Jada Pinkett Smith discussed parenting earlier in the year, specifically the birth of his first son, Trey, the actor was unable to control the waterworks. Speaking through tears, he said, "I brought him home, and I remember we put him in the bassinet, and Cherie went to sleep, and it was like a stark terror. It was like, I'm totally responsible for this life. And I just couldn't stop going and checking. And I gotta make sure he's breathing, you know, all of that new parenting stuff. But I just cried so hard. It makes me teary right now." Will then explains how ill-equipped he felt to take care for a son, saying,
Like, I'm not the guy. Yeah. I'm not the guy, you know? And It was like, I just knew I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
It's at this point that Will starts wiping tears from his eyes, stopping to laugh with Jada, presumably about the fact that he's crying on the show. After trying to compose himself, he explains that, at that moment, he felt that his father was better than him, saying,
Yeah, it was like, phew. It's on me now.
To create her heartbreaking and Academy Award-winning performance in 12 Years a Slave, Lupita Nyong'o combined talent and the weight of responsibility in dealing with such a sensitive and important topic. According to her interview with Arise Entertainment 360, the most memorable and shocking scene in the film, the violent whipping of her character, Patsy, was made all the more real for her by the scars she wore. She explained, "The evening before I shot that scene, we had done another scene in which I need the rips, the scars, from before Patsy, that epic whipping, and it had taken 4 hours to do those scars." Seeing that she had another long day in the makeup chair the following day, the actress suggested that she keep the scars on overnight to save some time. That night, Nyong'o had an epiphany of sorts. She explained, "I could only sleep on my belly because I didn't want to mess them up, and they just haunted me. They were so present, and I was so uncomfortable."
But it occurred to me as I was weeping in the night that my discomfort was temporary and Patsy's wasn't.
Fighting through tears in the interview, however, Nyong'o explained how she was able to settle.
I had been given this privilege to bring her back to life, and it just quietened my soul and prepared me for the next day's work.
Knowing what we know now, that the late Chadwick Boseman had been diagnosed with colon cancer 4 years prior to his untimely death, his actions in the last few years of his life take on a different shape. His strength looks more remarkable, his perseverance more incredible, and his compassion more personal. Perhaps no clip highlights this better than the Town Hall special on Sirius XM, in which Boseman spoke about 2 young cancer patients who inspired him during the making of Black Panther. There are 2 little kids, Ian and Taylor, who recently passed from cancer. Throughout our filming, I was communicating with them knowing that they were both terminal. What they said to me and their parents said, they're trying to hold on till this movie comes. Boseman explained how hearing that was both motivating and humbling. It made him want to do better and be better in the film. It also helped illustrate how meaningful the film was for these young boys. He thought back to his own childhood and how he too lived for little moments like that, saying, "It put me back in the mind of being a kid just to experience what those 2 little boys' anticipation of this movie."
And when I found out that they...
Boseman fought tears in silence for several moments before continuing.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Jon Voight has shown himself to be a supporter of Donald Trump. He's spoken out against left-leaning Hollywood in the past, after he was awarded the National Medal of the Arts in 2019, the first such award given during Trump's presidency, a result of the president's, quote, uneasy relationship with the arts, according to the New York Times. During a talk with Mark Levin on Fox News in 2018, however, Voight's love and admiration for Trump bubbled over as he discussed his feelings about the man. On Life, Liberty, and Levin, Voight recalled a conversation he had with a conservative actress that brought him incredible joy. He recalled asking her,
"So what do you think about our man?"
He then explained how the woman simply placed her hand on her chest. As he imitated this action, he began to cry.
That's me crying.
Levin asked him why he was crying.
First of all, the gesture was so beautiful. She couldn't even speak. She was just saying, "Thank God."
He went on saying, "And one of the reasons why I can say thank God is because I know He's there, you know, for us all."
That's one of the things that we've lost, is this compass of God.
Fans often have a hard time saying goodbye to a great television series, but they're not alone. Actors, too, can struggle moving on from a beloved project. During a Breaking Bad reunion, Jonathan Banks, the actor who played Mike Ehrmantraut in the show, discussed how hard it was moving on to the spin-off, Better Call Saul, without the majority of Breaking Bad stars. In the Entertainment Weekly cast reunion special, he said, "For Bob Odenkirk and I, it continues. It's hitting the lottery. It's whatever cliche you want to use, and it is painful. By the time you get to the end of this couch to be with you guys." Saying this, Banks started crying and swearing, clearly not expecting to do this during the reunion, saying,
When Bob and I started, we started Better Call Saul, I thought there was a ghost on the lot.
He went on to say he was walking around the lot, going,
"Where is everybody? Aren't they going to come from around the corner?" I didn't know I was going to do this.
Laughing off his public show of emotion, Banks blamed it on not getting enough sleep the night before. He ended his turn by saying,
How good. How lucky. And I love Mike.
At this point, Breaking Bad star Bryan Cranston interjected and quipped,
My favorite scene was killing Mike Ehrmantraut.
In an Extra Butter interview discussing his role in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Chris Pratt was asked to field questions from random viewers. When he was shown the recorded question, the actor was surprised to see it was from his brother, Cully Pratt, who said,
How do you do it? How do you stay so motivated, so humble, so grounded, so inspirational, and so nice?
The sweetness in the questions clearly got to Pratt, as he began tearing up watching it. Still, Pratt wasn't about to let a chance to rip his brother slip by. When asked if there was any one person who impacted his life more than any other, he quipped,
My sister. She just showed me what it means to be tough and to trust your emotions.
He also recognized his mom and his gym teacher. The familial zinger definitely hit home, because Cully would get him back. In a later Extra Butter interview, this time promoting Onward with his co-star Tom Holland, Pratt was shown another clip from Cully, who said,
Hey, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Tom Holland, you are like my favorite Avenger. I'm just freaking out right now.
Those who have seen A Star is Born know that it's an emotional movie, but it's not just the viewers who get choked up by the film. Just watching interviews with the cast makes it clear that they too were part of an emotional roller coaster while making and promoting the film. In a talk with ABC News' Adrian Bankert, Anthony Ramos, perhaps best known for his parts in Hamilton, reminisced about his humble beginnings in drama and got himself and everyone else in the interview crying. He spoke about how he had a single lifeline when he was young, and it was his theater teacher, Sarah Steinweiss, the woman who helped him get where he is today. Speaking as he wiped his eyes, he said,
Changed my life. I grew up in the projects, yo. Virtually, I had no chance. And I had this woman that said, I'm not giving up on you.
The next year, Ramos went and visited Steinweiss at his old high school and told her how much she meant to him.
Well, I'm grateful to God for you, and you changed my life, so.
I love you. You changed mine, too.
In 2018, the hip-hop world was dealt a brutal blow with the sudden death of Mac Miller. Fans and peers were impacted by the loss, but rapper Schoolboy Q was one of his closer friends in the industry. In an interview with Charlemagne the God, he spoke about it for the first time, saying,
Losing a friend to gangbanging is way different from losing a friend that's like an innocent little kid that's just super pure.
Schoolboy Q explained how the last time he spoke to Miller, the young rapper acted, quote, weird, and Charlemagne the God asked Schoolboy Q what he missed most about Mac. Schoolboy Q responded, quote, just him, then said,
Man, that's my bro. I got memories with that bro. Like.
After walking away to compose himself, he considered editing that portion out of the interview.
I don't want to look like I'm like exploiting the situation.
Man, you ain't exploiting nothing.
Charlemagne reassured him that no one will think less of him and that his show of emotion was justified. After Paul Walker's death in the midst of the Fast and Furious franchise, his longtime castmates were asked plenty of times about his impact and how his loss affected them. Over the course of the many films they did together, Vin Diesel and Walker and their families grew quite close, so he fielded the bulk of the questions. During the promotional stage of Furious 7, the film they were shooting when Walker died, Diesel found himself struggling to find the right words for his late friend. As the interviewer, Bonnie Krebs, shifted the discussion to Walker, Diesel became noticeably still, his glasses hiding his eyes. Krebs said, I have to say, it was an undeniable friendship and chemistry that the two of you had, and it was very, very special. How are you hoping this is going to honor his legacy? Because I think he's looking down on this, thinking, this is a damn amazing film.
I'll wait to hear. I'll wait to hear.
Krebs then asks what Diesel remembered most about Walker, and Diesel said,
If I ever had any kind of problem in life, the last person I would call would be him. And somehow he would help me.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.